Hello, this is Vernon. I'm back with part three of Chasing Time Travelers. I guess I should say this, since you've probably seen this slide before. So the main image on this page is that's a House of the Doves in Uxmal in the Yucatan Peninsula, and it's not just a temple that sort of looks like a mountain range. I think it does indicate a mountain range, a specific mountain range at a place on Earth that is nowhere near Mexico, right? Uxmal. And Mayapan, this on the bottom left where I got my little picture, Mayapan is so interesting. I can't even talk about it now, otherwise I'll get carried away. All right, let's go to the next slide. So two of my heroes are Alice and Augustus Laplangian. They He was a medical doctor and an adventurer, and he was from England or off the coast of England or somewhere, and I think she was from England as well. But he was much older when he met her, and she was blown away when she met him. So she went home and told her mom. She said, "I think I met the guy I'm going to marry." And so they did get married. He proposed, and I think he basically said, "Listen, marry me. We're going to go to to Central America, and we're going to study the Mayans because I think there's some spooky stuff going on down there." And he said, "You could take the photos and draw the images of what you see." And she said, "Great, let's do it." So off they went. So here they are, however many years later in Uxmal. I think this image actually is a little before 1899. As you can see, Augustus has his rifle kind of within reach, and she has her rifle within reach because uh, Mexico was fairly dangerous back then because of the caste wars, which is I won't get into. Just you can Google it. So where all this is leading is a theory I have that American. Let's look at the present, right? That image down in the bottom. That's sort of recent. Obviously, the twin towers are gone and the new tower is has been completed by now, but in any case, so I'll call that the present. So if you look to the right where you see the little American flag and the rocket thing, so my theory is that American military time travelers in our future are going to travel backwards in time to our past, and they're going to leave um, records with the Mayas in the form of rituals, myths, and a map. The maps, I'm sorry, when I say a map, I mean a map of maps. So there are thousands, there's like over 4,000 of those ancient Mayan cities. My contention is that most or all of them represent maps of planets where there's intelligent life. So um, right now I'm looking, see that thing on the bottom left? Uh, I recognize the countries that those two temples represent, and we'll get into that. But you need the rituals, the myths, and the maps to understand what they're trying to tell us. And I'll probably forget to say this later, so I'll say it now. Um, my understanding is that the Mayas do not claim to have built those ancient temple cities. Because I asked a guy once, and who was reputable, and I said, "Well, then who built them?" He said, in quotes, "The little people built them." And the little people, there's a whole thing about them. That's the Aleutians, and I won't have time to talk about the Aleutians in this video. But I don't really believe that Aleutians exist. No offense to anybody. They're kind of like leprechauns, sort of like them. Um, okay, so the map, the myths, and the rituals, I think, form the Yucatan Hall of Records, and you can look up Yucatan Hall of Records in variety of sources. Some say that the Hall of Records is in Egypt, some say it's in different places, and so on. So the records are the map, the myths, the rituals, and so that when you're looking at a map of the Yucatan Peninsula, you're actually looking at a map of the heavens. And those thousands of temple cities that you think are just some, random nonsense that somebody made because you like moving stones, I don't think so. I think what they're showing us are planets where there is, was, or will be intelligent life. And the reason I suspect that is because they got Earth very right. Chichen Itza is a map of the Western Hemisphere. Uxmal is a map of Asia. And they got so many things right that I think it's beyond chance. So either the Mayas were clairvoyant, or there's something I don't understand, or we're talking time travelers, or it's coincidental. And the reason I have ruled out Mayan clairvoyance, and it took me a couple of years to rule them out, is this. When you read the Mayan creation myths, the way I read them, they're basically saying that civilization began in Washington, D.C. And I don't see why ancient Mayas would say that 1,000 years, into the future, that some society, 2,000 miles away and 1,000 years in the future, that's where society is going to begin. Since obviously the Mayas had a society, which produced the documents that talked about the creation, the different creations. So thank you for listening. I think that's the end of my slides here.